You're watching ABC10 Plus This Week.
Hello, I'm Laura Painter. You're watching ABC10 Plus This Week. The California Department of Justice joined other states in a lawsuit accusing a software company and major property management companies of unfairly raising rent. How this could impact renters here in California. Then, in dollars and cents, we get answers after a TurboTax promo turns into tax season turmoil for one ABC10 viewer. And to wrap things up, we hit the back roads with John Bartel. He takes us to the Bay Area to visit the curious town of Crockett, where the people there have amassed an odd collection of unique items. ABC10 Plus This Week starts right now.
And we start tonight with a possible reason why the rent is high. Some of the country's largest rental companies and a software company have been accused of a pricing scheme in an antitrust lawsuit that a California congressman is bringing back to light. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen joins us now to explain what's going on and how it could impact you.
Alex, California and other states have sued a software company and major property management companies of unfairly raising rent. According to the lawsuit, some of these property management companies have impacted areas like Sacramento, Stockton, and Modesto. Congressman Josh Harder tells me he wants to work with the Trump administration to help reimburse some of these people who have unknowingly been paying high rent.
We have a saying, the rent eats first, and I mean that's still very much the case.
Shanti Singh is with Tenants Together, a California organization that advocates for renters. With the rising cost of living in the state and an ongoing housing crisis, Singh says it's problematic to see some companies allegedly taking advantage of renters, using software to artificially and unlawfully raise rent in the state.
What's really sort of sinister about the RealPage issue is that a lot of tenants don't necessarily know that this is happening to them. It's clearly happening at a significant enough scale to be worried about it, but it's hard to make that connection.
In January, the California Department of Justice sent an amended lawsuit to include 7 property management companies and the company RealPage, saying they participated in algorithmic pricing schemes that harmed renters. California is one of 10 states that filed the lawsuit. California Attorney General Rob Bonta says this lawsuit is his attempt at holding RealPage, property management companies, and landlords accountable who possibly profited by increasing rent prices. Now, California Congressman Josh Harder is speaking out.
We're living with the repercussions of high rental prices every day, and it's outrageous that this investigation shows that Stockton is one of the worst culprits for these corporate landlords.
Congressman Harder says property companies in Sacramento and Modesto have used the software to set rent, and he's demanding accountability. He wants to work with the Trump administration to find a solution.
First, we have to make sure that these corporate landlords who have engaged in illegal activities to raise rents are held accountable. Second, I want to make sure that they have to return those artificially high rents back to the renters who paid them in the first place.
RealPage tells ABC10 it's filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit and that its software does not violate antitrust laws or fix prices in any way, adding its products are built to be legally compliant.
All right, bringing in Jeannie, who's been following this for us. Now, you reached out to the California Rental Housing Association. They represent rental housing owners. What did they have to say about this whole case?
Well, Alex, the organization says it does support policies that expand housing supply and affordability and acknowledge data-driven tools and software can be helpful, but setting rental prices must comply with fair competition laws. Now, the organization tells me it'll continue to work with stakeholders and policymakers to ensure a fair and sustainable rental housing market. I have posted their full statement on our website at abc10.com.
All right, Jeannie, thank you so much. And we also want to mention, here's what Zillow says is the average cost of rent across California is. A 1-bedroom, about $2,150. A 2-bedroom, $2,750. A 3-bedroom, though, $3,600. California's average rent is about 36% higher than the national average, which sits at about $2,010.
Time now for dollars and cents. It's tax season, and tonight we're helping an ABC10 viewer. She says she was not getting the help she needed when she hit a roadblock filing her return online with hopes of getting her refund fast.
I was getting nowhere for 2 weeks until you guys got involved.
What started as a hopeful and routine tax filing for viewer Juliana Pierre-Bell turned into hours on the phone, numerous emails, and virtual chats with tech support.
I just kept getting transferred and transferred and transferred, and no one had a solution. And I was just like, in Italian, it's finito. I'm done.
Juliana tells me she files her taxes with TurboTax every year, but this year, for the first time, decided to jump on a promotion called TurboTax Refund Advance.
This year, they partnered with Credit Karma, and they came out with an instant refund up to $4,000 of your return. I thought, well, that's great. I don't have to wait the 3 weeks to get the money. So I started the process.
These are screenshots she sent us of error messages she says showed up at the end of her tax filing process online.
And I would get all the way through, put my social security number in, put all the information they were asking me, employment, and then it would go, oops, something on our end.
Juliana says she contacted customer support and followed their troubleshooting suggestions, but says she kept getting error messages. Describe for us what you were feeling hitting these roadblocks and not getting any satisfaction from the companies involved.
Well, being in sales, I'm a problem solver. So I was getting frustrated with myself because it was like, what am I doing wrong?
Just hours after I talked with Juliana and emailed TurboTax's parent company Intuit, they wrote back and called Juliana. Several emails, progress updates, and a technician chat later, Intuit determined Juliana did not qualify for the promotion. A spokesperson sent ABC10 a statement, saying in part, quote, "At Intuit, we prioritize customer satisfaction. In response to this customer's inquiry, we promptly worked to investigate the issues and assist in resolving it. Ultimately, the customer was not eligible for the loan product, and we were unable to offer them a refund advance loan." Juliana says Intuit filed her taxes, refunded her the $277 filing fee, and now she's waiting for her tax refund from the IRS, just not as quickly as she had hoped at the start.
Well, I just thought it was amazing that I got a phone call back because you just never know what's going to happen because I'd never done this before. And to get such a pleasant voice as yours and really help me. And you really took this as your own, and that's hard to find in people these days. You really own it. And kudos to you for being such a good-hearted person. And I really appreciate it. Don't make me cry.
Financial coach Maureen Paley warns to take extra precaution before jumping onto any tax season promotions. It's tax season, it's a busy time. Any advice for people who may be using a similar tax preparation program?
Make sure that you know the terms. Make sure that you go in eyes wide open because at the end of the day, that is a financial agreement. That's a financial contract.
Paley recommends reading the fine print, calling customer service, and asking questions before you sign an agreement.
Say, tell me what this is, just like plain and simple, so I really understand what I'm getting into. We all have the right to do that as consumers, and it can really help us make the right decision.
Well, you can also look at the Better Business Bureau website if you're looking for complaints and reviews. With changes at the federal level that could impact people locally, one agency whose mission is to decrease wildfire risk is waiting on the federal government to release grants that have been approved for vital wildfire mitigation projects. The El Dorado County Fire Safe Council says they've had to put some critical projects on hold. ABC 10's Garshpal Sangha explains what this means for keeping you safe.
In the wake of the devastating 2021 Caldor fire, the scars and the close calls remain for many in El Dorado County, including Randy and Stacy Keene, whose home is less than a mile away from where the fire burned.
I've noticed there's been a lot more people since the Caldor fire in this area, having masticators come in.
The stakes are high. That is why fire mitigation is a key term for Foothill and Sierra residents.
If they want to do their due diligence, then they can at least work on their own property.
For the bigger projects, that is where the El Dorado County Fire Safe Council comes in, helping reduce wildfire risk.
And we were literally working on these projects, and we've had to stop them.
Chair Ken Pimlott, a former CAL FIRE chief, says they had to put some projects like education, chipping, and tree removal on hold due to the delays in federal grants already approved but are now going through a review by the Trump administration. Pimlott explains these grants are crucial, funding nearly a third of their operations.
We are not letting this deter us from continuing to work. It's just making the effort much more challenging.
PIMLOT says around 5 grants worth close to $1.5 million are being impacted. One grant was from the California State Fire Council.
The funding for that grant came from the U.S. Forest Service. That is now on hold, we've been told by the State Fire Safe Council.
PIMLOT says they get the remaining 2/3 of their funds from fundraisers and from SMUD and PG&E, but the uncertainty is leading to a difficult environment to operate in.
It does really start to impede our ability to mitigate, to deal with that next fire that's coming, like Caldor and others that we know are going to occur again in El Dorado County.
The El Dorado County Fire Safe Council remains hopeful that those grants will ultimately be released, but the hope is it's sooner rather than later. Reporting in Placerville, Garge Paul Sunga, ABC 10.
Tonight, a financial crisis in Suisun City. Officials say all city departments are facing a staffing shortage, and they have been for years, even as the population grows. This includes the police and fire departments, which is leading to public safety concerns. ABC 10's Devin Truby talked with the city manager to find out how they're going to fix this. And Devin, this sounds serious.
Yeah, Laura, but they are taking this very seriously, and they are being transparent about it with their residents. Now, all departments are operating with 80% of the staff. Now, the fire department is operating with just 50%. We spoke with the city manager to discuss the long-term and the short-term solutions.
Suisun City is in a financial crisis, and City Manager Brett Pabula is looking to solve it with a tax on residents, infill development, and expansion.
Just because you balance a budget in a government setting doesn't mean you're actually providing the correct level of service.
That's what's happening right now. Every city department is operating at 80% staffing, including the police department. The fire department is operating at 50%.
If there's a domestic violence call, that's going to require 2 of our police officers. And if we're running a 2 officers and 1 sergeant shift, now I have an issue if another extreme call comes in.
Pabula says they are thankful for the mutual aid from Fairfield. The goal is to be at 1 officer per 1,000 residents. Suisun City is adding officers, but they're still about 7 short.
We were adding 2 police officers, 2 firefighters, and 2 public works officers to keep our legal dumping crew that goes around and cleans everything up. Well, when we looked at that, it was really the last time we're going to be able to add staff, probably the next half decade.
That was made possible by voters approving Measure S, extending their 1% sales tax for another 15 years, making it 1.75% to get them about $2.8 million. Even with the extra money, the city will be 12 firefighters short.
We can't actually fit in 1 fire station, so the problem there, even beyond police, is that I actually have to build a building to be able to get to the levels we need to.
A new fire station is estimated at a $15 million capital expense. The fire department also has mutual aid with Fairfield. Pabula says 70% of their calls are EMS, so they are handling the volume for now, but are concerned about larger fires. Meanwhile, residents tell us they're concerned about homelessness growing.
Like anywhere, there is an issue with homelessness and that kind of thing, but for the most part, I think that the police department does a good job of keeping tabs, especially considering that they are short-staffed.
The city manager said he is concerned about burnout across all the departments, not just public safety, and he doesn't want to lose any good people. We'll have another story looking at how infill and expansion will be part of the solution soon, Laura.
Okay, keep us updated, Devin Truby. Thank you.
It's fair to say it's an exciting time for the Sacramento State Hornets. They're buzzing about new head football coach Brennan Marion. He comes with over a decade of college football coaching experience, with his most recent position as offensive coordinator for the UNLV Rebels. He also held coaching roles at 11 other colleges.
You're making history, first African-American head coach at Sac State. Do you have a dream that this would be a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think anytime you see coaches that have came before you and trailblazed the path, you feel like, man, maybe one day that can be me.
Coach Marion tells me he was especially attracted to Sacramento State because of 2 African-American leaders, Sac State President Dr. Luke Wood and Athletic Director Mark Orr.
Guys that look like me, that had some swagger to them, intelligent men who have, built bridges and ultimately for me was like, wow, we can do this together. We got something great that we can build here in Sacramento. And so I was excited to join them in their vision.
The recent 3-time Big Sky Conference champions are planning a big move, with the Sac State Student Athlete Advisory Committee officially endorsing the football team transitioning to the FBS, the highest level of college football in the nation.
You want to see them on ESPN and playing in those big games, and so now this will give us the opportunity to do that.
And talk to me about this. It ain't cheap. I think it's what, like $5 million or something like that? $2.5 million already voted on behalf of the students. Another 2.5 coming from donors.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime you talk about leveling up or going to a new level, there's going to be a certain cost to that. And the thing that I'm proud about is our players are not taking that lightly. They're really grateful and appreciative by the work that they put in every morning out here.
1, 2, 3, champions! Here we go!
You got your Go-Go Sacramento merch going. You're bringing that Go-Go offense here that you're famous for. What can people expect?
We talk about living a championship life, and one great year can change our life. So every day that we put the work in, we have an end goal in mind. And so our thought process has always been to either win with us or watch us win, but at the end of the day, we're going to win.
He tells me his determination to win and never give up was instilled in him at a young age.
Yeah, I started football in my grandfather's backyard when I was about 5, and I'll never forget they were beating me up back there in the backyard, and I ran into the house to my grandfather like, why they keep hitting so hard? It's like, and I was crying, and he was like, well, you can quit or you can go back out there. And I ran back out there, and ever since I've been kind of on the football journey and football train. And so, started football at a very young age. And, obviously I always say thank God for the ball that saved my life. And it's brought me all the way to this point.
Oh, that's a powerful statement. It saved your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, growing up, single mom, moving around a lot, football's always kind of been my safe haven, my comfort zone, my place to go to, my rest, free from the world and the things that are going on. So it's been awesome.
You never know what you'll see out on the back roads. And tonight, John Bartell takes us to the Bay Area to visit the curious town of Crockett, where the people have amassed an odd collection of stuff.
Just off Interstate 80 in Contra Costa County, below the iconic C&H sugar refinery, there's a strange collection of what I can only describe as things.
Well, if you like oddities, you'll feel at home right here, John Bartell. Make it a little pit stop at the Crockett Museum.
If you walk inside the old Southern Pacific train station, you'll find the town of Crockett's most prized possessions.
Why do you have so many waffle irons?
Because these gentlemen, remember I told you the founders, they never said no.
Okay.
You bring it, we'll keep it.
The best way I can describe the Crockett Museum is by comparing it to your grandma's attic. Just an overwhelming amount of, well, stuff.
We try to be organized, but the disorganization helps create who the town of Crockett is.
Museum President Kathy Dempsey Cargo says the museum was founded in 1981 by a group of war veterans who retired from the C&H sugar refinery, the town's biggest employer.
This is a sugar town.
It is. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes. It was big on sugar.
C&H stands for California and Hawaii Sugar Refining Company, and they've been refining sugarcane since 1906. You've probably used one of their sugar packets in your coffee. It's such a big refinery that President Roosevelt visited.
So he got off here. We presented him with a huge sugar cube. We're never sure that it made it back to Washington, D.C. or not.
There's a whole display on C&H sugar, including the largest sugar crystal ever made, but one of the most eye-catching displays in the museum is Joey Pallada's record-setting stuffed sturgeon. In 1983, the local boy reeled in a 9-foot monster, weighing in at a whopping 460 pounds.
I imagine all the women in town were just swooning over
I'm
him.
sure.
Crockett is a small town of 3,000 people, but hordes of travelers pass by every day thanks to the Carquinez Strait Bridge. In 1927, it fast-tracked automobile travel to the Bay Area.
You couldn't get across to Sacramento up here without these bridges.
More travelers meant more stuff coming into Crockett. Stuff like folk art pieces made by famed sculptor Clinton Bailey.
What is this?
Okay, this is our Horn Dog 2000.
Horn dog.
Horn Dog, doesn't it? It's on a leash, so it can't escape.
Not a fan of folk art? Check out this scale model of St. Peter and Paul's Cathedral, built by recovering tuberculosis patients.
But you can peek inside here and see the inside.
From the world's largest wasp nest to a pile of old phones, I could go on and on about the odd collections here, but I think it's best for you to visit and see the rest yourself.
From the Crockett Museum, home of Joey Pallotta's giant sturgeon, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
We know that in news, stories are filled with challenges and hardships, but incredible things are happening every day, from neighbors helping neighbors to inspiring acts of kindness. Each week, we're going to be sharing stories of people that are really making a difference in our community. Tonight in our Champions of Hope, we're introducing you to the Black Hair and Hygiene Project that's helping give people a boost of confidence.
Smells so good.
Simple hygiene items often taken for granted.
This here is Palmer's cocoa butter. This is great for your skin. I actually use this.
Are not forgotten for Faye Wilson Kennedy. She knows that feeling good in your own skin is important for everyone, especially those struggling with homelessness.
People will say, well, why don't they go get a job? You can't go get a job if you don't look well, if your hair is not cared for.
More than 3 years ago, Faye, who had been working with the unhoused in Sacramento, co-founded the Black Hair and Black Hygiene Project after learning many unhoused people didn't have what they needed to care for their skin and hair.
We came up with the idea that that's something we could do on a volunteer basis. So many of us early on actually purchased the items ourselves out of our own pocket.
A need, she says, is noticeably present in her community.
And we found that the largest population of the unhoused, both locally, statewide, and nationally, are people of African descent. We don't turn anyone away, so we make sure that there's lotion for everyone, soap for everyone, but we particularly focus on folks of African descent.
The Black Hair and Black Hygiene Project makes supply bags filled with lotions and...
This is for your hair, kind of like leave-in hair conditioner where you don't wash it out. For people of African descent, because of the texture of our hair and our skin, the products we use are a little bit different than what most people use. I like the little smaller container.
ABC10 visited Faye and her group back in December during a donation drive. They break down and bag products to serve as many people as they can.
What we do is scoop it out and put it in a smaller container. Each gift bag will have 2 to 3 of these in there.
To help people and their skin feel good.
It's not so much about beauty, but it's about protecting your hair. For us, it's more preventive. And of course, we want everyone to look good also.
And not forgotten. The Black Hair and Hygiene Project will be hosting another event tomorrow to distribute products from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Shakur Center at 3230 Broadway in Sacramento. So if you want to find ways that you can help, or if you want to donate, you can always visit clapsac.com. And look, we know there are so many more stories waiting to be told. So if you know someone that's making a difference in your community, we would absolutely love to hear about it. You can always share a story with us by emailing us at tothepoint@abc10.com.
Thanks so much for watching ABC10 Plus this week. We're here 24/7 on the free ABC10 Plus app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Laura Painter. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Trust isn't given, but earned. It's built every day by doing the hard work, putting in the hours, doing the research, holding the powerful accountable, and being there when you need us most.
Working hard to earn your trust
Every day, every newscast, every story.
Watch weeknights at 6 or stream live on ABC10 Plus.
Thanks for watching ABC10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To the Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To the Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. We can't mention Bay Sports without talking about the Oakland A's. We have that too. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look. It's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To the Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC 10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.
Trust isn't given, but earned. It's built every day by doing the hard work, putting in the hours, doing the research, holding the powerful accountable, and being there when you need us most. Working hard to earn your trust every day, every newscast, every story. Watch weeknights at 6 or stream live on ABC 10 Plus.